Okay, guys, today you're going to be learning some tips that will help you to answer comprehension passage questions. So, the topic is how to answer Jamb Comprehension Passage 2020. So, the tips I'm going to share with you right now, guys, I believe they are going to help you to arrive at exactly the correct option to any question that will be given to you in the forthcoming Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination. So I implore you to carefully look at the tips and the secrets that I'm about to share with you on how to answer comprehension passages. But guys, if this is your first time watching us today, this is NG University channel. This is where we teach candidates, we prepare candidates for examinations like UTME, post-UTME, and other main examinations. We also give out concrete admission advice and tips that are going to help you to ensure that you gain admission this year. So guys, make sure you subscribe to our channel. You will see the subscribe button on your screen right now. Just hit the subscribe button, and after clicking subscribe, you will see a notification bell. Also hit the notification bell so that when we have new videos, you would always be notified and you will not miss any of the important information that we give out on our channel. So guys, let's go straight forward to our topic today. I want to share 6 special secrets that are going to help you answer any question that will be given to you on the comprehension passage in Jamb. This is the first secret that you're going to learn today. I want you to know this. You see, every comprehension passage that you will see in any examination question, it always has a setting. You see, if you can use the setting of a passage to answer any given question in your examination. First, when we talk about comprehension, we are talking about a piece of writing addressing a particular subject or a short piece of passage, passing a piece of information on a particular subject. You see, the idea behind this is explained. The author aims to see how well you can comprehend the given information in a passage. Now, your goal is to prove to the author or the examiner that you understand and fully comprehend the given passage. Now, what you need to prove to the writer that you understand the passage is this very key secret that I'm giving to you right now. And that secret is every passage has its setting. Using the setting of a passage, you would fully understand the passage and be able to answer any of the questions that comes under the passage. But if you do not understand the setting of a passage, it will be difficult to understand the whole passage. Now, from the way the writer puts up a comprehension passage, the information conveyed, how the writer starts and ends the passage plus the arising questions, you'll be able to know the setting of that particular passage. Now, for example, most passages are fictional stories. Some are set to address the current happenings in our society, while some talk about science, technology, etc. Now, once you know the whole logic behind the setting of a passage, you'll be able to arrive at the exact answer. Obviously, there are different settings to different passages. So if you look deeply at the passage, you'll be able to determine the setting of that particular passage, and from the setting, you can use your instincts to determine the answers to the question in relation to the setting that the passage uses. The second secret is this: forget what you think you know and answer according to the information conveyed on the passage. You see, this is the very reason a lot of candidates fail Jamb issues of English, and as a result have a very low score in Jamb. As a candidate, when you are faced with a passage, whatever the passage says is what you must give when the author asks you a relating question. You see, the good thing is you don't need the complete passage to answer a question right. Each answer is buried in the various paragraphs that makes up a passage. The key here is whatever question that you are given, you are going to find the answer in the passage. So do not look beyond the passage when giving answers to the question. Always look around the passage, and definitely you are going to find the answer to that passage within the contents and within the paragraph. So I don't think it's advisable for you to use what you think you knew before if except it concurs to the passage. But if what you think you knew before might be correct but goes against the passage, then I advise you to stick to what you have in the passage and not what you think you know before, in order to get the questions correct. So now the next tip is you must be good in grammars and vocabularies. You see, this is one of the most crucial and vital secrets I want you to understand. In a comprehension passage, the author uses grammar or vocabulary to confuse and hijack your understanding. You're going to be given a passage, and the passage is going to have many vocabularies and grammars that will make you a bit confused, unable to understand the whole meaning of the passage. A candidate who is not conversant with vocabularies will be unable to deal with comprehension passages. There is no comprehension passage in Jamb which you would not find vocabularies. You must from ends begin studying new words. Okay guys, the next tip right now is this. You see, you must understand the main idea of the passage before starting to answer. Now, to achieve this, you can use the SQ3 arrow reading method. You see, you might have come across a question in Jamb's comprehension passage that will ask you what is the main idea of this passage. Yes, without an iota of doubt, you are very likely to get questions of this nature wrong unless you know what the full passage is talking about. Nevertheless, understanding the main idea of a passage will help you to get every other questions right. So you need to watch out for questions which will ask you to give a suitable title to the passage. In questions like that, you can use the SQ3 arrow method to know what any passage is talking about, so you can get the main idea of a passage without wasting time. It is simple. This reading technique is what I have taught each of my candidates sitting for any exam that deals with passages. This technique or this method is called the SQ3 arrow reading method. See, now what does that mean and how is it used? The SQ3 arrow is an acronym. Now, SQ3 arrow is an acronym that means X for survey, Q for question, arrow for read, arrow for recite, and arrow for review. As you can see, using this technique, you'll be able to understand any passage and know what the main idea is. Please, I would recommend that you use this strategy when you get to the exam hall. Now, this is how to use it. Now, rule number 1, for the first letter, what it means survey. Now, this is another way to say scan through the passage. Scanning gives you a quick grasp of what the passage is about, like what tune, what style of passage, or what the writer is telling you. You don't have to waste time. Just take a minute or two to go through the passage the first time. Then that leads us to the next, which is question. Now you're going to ask yourself questions from the idea that you got from the passage the first time of your scanning. That means after using the first method, which is survey, the next thing to do is to ask yourself question on what the idea of the passage is. For instance, you can ask yourself, what idea is the author trying to pass? What do you really understand from the topic? Now you see, this technique will open your brain, which will lead you to get the answer to the question right. Now, rule number 3, the third technique, the third step is to read. Now, you can read the full passage, but you have to put the structure of the passage based on how you have first scanned it and the question in rule 2 at the back of your mind. Try to see if you can understand the passage. I recommend reading it only once in this step. Now, the next thing to do is to recite. The next thing you need is to recite the main points you have gathered in your imaginations, and the last one is the last thing to do is to review the whole passage. But this time, I want you to go through the questions for that article, then go through the passage again. Once you do all those, try to attempt the questions. That is all there is to know. Now, using this SQ3 arrow, survey, question, read, recite, and review, you'll be able to understand the passage very well. Now, you can find this very technique, this very method on NG University's blog. The next thing to do is to use your residual knowledge. Your residual knowledge is also required to answer the given questions. Apart from the fact that the author expects you to answer based on what the passage says, there are times when your residual knowledge, which means what you knew before now, as long as it does not stand as the opposite of what the passage says. Now, why you will need more intuitive thinking to answer questions that you obviously must have known the answer. So don't forget that most passages you will meet in Jamb will require your earliest knowledge. So study as most past questions in a wide range. Now finally, use the keywords in the questions to filter answers from the passage. Now you must scrutinize the passage before attempting any question. Yes guys, most times with the help of the given options, you will know which paragraph to get your answer from. Now, to be very good at handling confusion passages, the most important secret I must give you is this: your success depends on how many passages you study and understand before the exam. So guys, grab your use of English past questions and start dealing with every single passages. And I encourage you to study, focus more on 1998 to 2003 and 2010 to 2017 passages. And I hope this video on this guide on how to answer question passages helped you a bit. So I'll be sharing more of this guide with you, so ensure guys that you subscribe to our channel for more guides, more definitive videos like this. Thanks for watching. Please ensure you subscribe. Thank you very much.